What if the next wheat penny you find in your pocket change is worth thousands, even six-figure prices? In today's video, we're diving into some of the most valuable Lincoln wheat penny coins ever discovered in the United States, rare dates, hidden mint marks, and shocking error coins that have sold for unbelievable prices. From small-town bankrolls to major U.S. auctions, these pennies are turning everyday Americans into unexpected collectors. But here's the key. The most valuable wheat pennies are often the ones people overlook. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for before you spend another cent. If you love rare U.S. coins and hidden treasures still in circulation, make sure you subscribe right now, like this video, and stay with me until the end, because the final penny we reveal might completely change how you look at your spare change forever. Coin number 1, imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a simple penny, and realizing it could be worth more than a brand new luxury car. That's the hidden power of a 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark. To most Americans, it looks like just another old copper cent. But to collectors across the United States, this coin represents one of the most fascinating and potentially valuable discoveries in American coin history. The 1944 wheat penny is part of the legendary Lincoln wheat penny series, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin became the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. On the front, you see Lincoln's right-facing portrait. On the back, 2 wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent, giving the coin its famous nickname, the wheat penny. Now, let's focus on the year 1944. America was deep in World War II. Just 1 year earlier, in 1943, pennies were struck in zinc-coated steel to save copper for wartime ammunition. But in 1944, the U.S. Mint returned to a copper alloy composition, primarily made from recycled shell casings from the war. That alone makes the 1944 penny historically significant. When a 1944 wheat penny has no mint mark, it means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. During that time, the Philadelphia facility did not use a mint mark on cents. So, if you look below the date and see nothing, no D for Denver and no S for San Francisco, you're holding a Philadelphia issue. Millions of 1944 no mint mark pennies were produced. In fact, over 1 billion were struck in Philadelphia that year. Because of that high mintage, most 1944 wheat pennies are common and worth only a few cents in circulated condition. But here's where things get interesting and valuable. Condition is everything in coin collecting. A 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark in worn, circulated condition might sell for a few cents to a couple of dollars depending on color and eye appeal. But if you find one in uncirculated condition, especially with strong luster and minimal contact marks, the value rises significantly. High-grade examples graded MS-65 red or better by professional grading companies can sell for hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. Color also matters. Collectors classify copper coins as brown BN, red-brown RB, or red RD. A fully red 1944 no mint mark penny that has been preserved without toning or oxidation is much more desirable than a dark brown example. The brighter and more original the surface, the stronger the demand. But the real reason this coin attracts massive attention is because of rare mint errors and transitional mistakes. During 1944, a small number of pennies were accidentally struck on leftover 1943 steel planchets. These rare 1944 steel wheat pennies are among the most famous error coins in U.S. history. Imagine a 1944 dated penny that sticks to a magnet. That's your first clue it might be steel instead of copper. If you ever find a 1944 penny that looks silver or gray instead of copper, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Test it carefully with a magnet. If it sticks, you could be looking at an extremely rare transitional error. Only a handful are known to exist, and they are heavily authenticated because counterfeits are common. There are also double die errors to watch for. On some rare 1944 no mint mark cents, you may notice doubling in the date, the word liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust." True double dies show clear separation in the lettering. not just machine doubling or flat shelf-like effects. Under magnification, strong doubling can significantly increase value. Another variety collectors search for is repunched Mintmarks, though this applies more to Denver and San Francisco issues. Still, die cracks, off-center strikes, clip planchets, and broad strikes can all add premium value, depending on severity and eye appeal. One of the biggest mistakes new collectors make is underestimating common dates. While billions were minted, survival rates in pristine condition are much lower. Most 1944 pennies entered circulation and saw decades of use. Finding a sharply struck, full red, high-grade example in circulation today is extremely difficult. Storage also plays a huge role in value. Coins kept in dry, stable environments with minimal air exposure maintain better color and surface quality. Coins stored loosely in jars or drawers often develop scratches and toning that reduce their grade. Professional grading from companies like PCGS or NGC can dramatically impact the final sale price. A difference of just one grade point at high mint state levels can mean thousands of dollars in value difference. That's why serious collectors pay close attention to strike quality, luster, contact marks, and overall eye appeal. Counterfeits are another reason this coin gets attention. Because rare 1944 steel cents are so valuable, altered coins exist. Some people plate copper coins to look like steel. Others modify dates from 1943 to read 1944. That's why authentication is critical before making assumptions about value. If you're searching through rolls of pennies, here's what you should do. First, separate all wheat pennies from memorial cents. Second, look closely at the 1944 date. Third, check for mint marks. Fourth, examine color and condition. Fifth, test any unusual-looking silver-colored examples with a magnet. Many collectors across America started with pocket change. Stories continue to surface about valuable coins discovered in inherited collections, old coffee cans, estate sales, and bankrolls. The key is knowledge. Once you know what to look for, you will never see a penny the same way again. The 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark is valuable not because every example is rare, but because certain examples are extraordinarily rare. That difference is what makes coin collecting both exciting and potentially rewarding. And here's the number that shocks most people. The highest price ever recorded at auction for a rare 1944 wheat penny error reached an incredible $290,000. That's why you should never ignore a 1944 penny. Before you spend it, examine it carefully. This coin may look ordinary, but under the right circumstances, it can be one of the most valuable discoveries hiding in plain sight. Coin number 2. What if I told you that a simple 1951 wheat penny with a small D mint mark could be worth far more than 1 cent? And in rare cases, life-changing money? Most people overlook these coins every single day. But serious collectors across America know that certain 1951 D wheat pennies are highly valuable, especially in top condition or with rare errors. The 1951 D belongs to the historic Lincoln Wheat Penny Series, one of the most collected coins in United States history. First introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, this design features Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse. By 1951, the coin had already been circulating for over 4 decades, making it a familiar but still iconic part of American commerce. The D mint mark under the date means this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. In 1951, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of cents. Because of this large mintage, many people assume the 1951 D wheat penny is common and not worth saving. That assumption can be a costly mistake. In circulated condition, a 1951 D wheat penny may be worth only a few cents to a couple of dollars depending on wear and color. But condition changes everything. When you move into uncirculated grades, especially coins with strong luster, sharp strike details, and minimal contact marks, the value increases significantly. Collectors pay close attention to the color designation of copper coins. Brown BN coins are fully toned. Red-brown RB coins show a mix of original red and light toning. Fully red RDE Coins retain their original mint color and are the most desirable. A 1951 D graded MS65 red or higher by a top grading service can command impressive prices because surviving examples in pristine condition are far scarcer than most people realize. Strike quality is another important factor. Denver Mint coins from this era sometimes show slightly weaker strikes compared to Philadelphia issues. Strong detail in Lincoln's hair, sharp wheat lines on the reverse, and bold lettering in Liberty and In God We Trust can significantly enhance desirability. Then there are mint errors and varieties. Some 1951 D-wheat pennies exhibit repunched mint marks, where the D appears slightly doubled due to the mint mark being punched into the die more than once. Under magnification, you may see clear separation lines around the mint mark. Authentic repunched mint marks are collectible and can add premium value. Die cracks, cuds, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and lamination errors are also worth watching for. Even minor off-center errors can multiply the value of a coin, depending on how dramatic and visually appealing the error is. Another factor that impacts value is preservation. Many 1951 D-wheat pennies were stored in jars, drawers, or coin folders that did not protect them from moisture and air exposure. Over time, this leads to oxidation and dark toning. Finding a fully red example with blazing mint luster today is much harder than most collectors expect. If you're searching through rolls of pennies or inherited collections, here's what you should do. First, separate all wheat pennies from memorial cents. Second, locate the date 1951 and check for the D mint mark. Third, examine the surfaces carefully under good lighting. Look for original shine, minimal scratches, and strong details. Fourth, use magnification to inspect the mint mark for repunching or unusual characteristics. Never clean a coin. Cleaning can permanently damage the surface and drastically reduce its value. Even wiping a coin lightly can leave hairline scratches that lower its grade. Serious collectors prefer original surfaces, even if the coin shows light natural toning. Professional grading by services like PCGS or NGC can dramatically influence market value. In high mint state grades, the difference between MS66 and MS67 can mean thousands of dollars. Population reports show that the highest grade examples are extremely limited compared to the total mintage struck in 1951. Market demand also plays a role. Lincoln cent collectors often build complete date and mint mark sets. High-quality 1951 D examples are needed to complete these collections, creating steady demand for premium specimens. And while most 1951 D wheat pennies are affordable, the rarest high-grade or exceptional error examples have reached astonishing levels at major auctions. The highest price recorded at auction for an extraordinary 1951 D wheat penny reached $275,000. That's why this coin is valuable and why you should never ignore it. A 1951 wheat penny with a D mint mark may look ordinary, but in the right condition or with the right rare variety, it can be one of the most rewarding discoveries hiding in plain sight in America's spare change. Coin number 3. What if the next 1945 wheat penny with a small D mint mark that you find in your pocket change is actually worth serious money? Most Americans have seen a wheat penny before. Few realize that certain 1945 D examples are highly valuable and, under the right conditions, extremely rare. The 1945 D is part of the legendary Lincoln Wheat Penny series, introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin features Lincoln's portrait on the front and 2 wheat stalks framing 1 cent on the reverse. By 1945, the United States was nearing the end of World War II, and these copper cents were once again being struck using recycled wartime shell casings. The D mint mark below the date tells us this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. In 1945, Denver produced hundreds of millions of pennies. Because of this large mintage, many collectors assume the 1945 D is common. But here's where knowledge becomes power. While many were made, far fewer survive today in high-grade, fully original condition. In circulated grades, a 1945 D wheat penny might be worth only a few cents to a couple of dollars depending on condition. But when you start talking about mint state examples, coins that were never used in circulation, the value rises significantly. The higher the grade, the stronger the price. Copper coin grading focuses heavily on luster, strike, surface preservation, and color. Collectors classify these coins as brown BN, red brown RB, or red RD. A fully red 1945 D with blazing mint luster and minimal contact marks is far more desirable than a dark brown example that has been heavily circulated. In grades like MS65 red and above, demand increases sharply. Strike quality also matters. Strong detail in Lincoln's hair, sharp wheat lines on the reverse, and bold lettering in Liberty and In God We Trust make a coin stand out. Weakly struck examples are less desirable, even if technically uncirculated. Now, let's talk about errors and varieties, because this is where hidden value often appears. Some 1945 D wheat pennies show repunched mint marks, where the D was punched into the die more than once, creating visible doubling. Under magnification, you may see clear separation or shadowing around the mint mark. Authentic repunched mint marks can bring significant premiums. Other collectible errors include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, lamination errors, die cracks, and cuds. Even a minor off-center strike can multiply the coin's value, depending on how dramatic and eye-catching the error is. Dramatic errors with full dates visible are especially popular with collectors. Preservation is critical. Many 1945 D pennies were stored loosely in jars, drawers, and coffee cans for decades. Exposure to air and moisture causes oxidation, turning bright red copper into brown over time. Finding a fully red, high-grade 1945 D today is far more difficult than most people think. If you're searching through old collections or bankrolls, start by separating all wheat pennies from memorial cents. Then check the date carefully. Look under the 1945 date for the D mint mark. Examine the surfaces under strong lighting. Rotate the coin slowly to look for mint luster, that cartwheel shine that moves across the surface. Never clean your coins. Cleaning can permanently damage the surface and dramatically reduce value. Even light polishing can remove the original mint finish that collectors pay premiums for. Original surfaces are always preferred, even if the coin has minor natural toning. Professional grading through major services like PCGS or NGC can make a huge difference in final value. In high mint state grades, a single point difference, for example MS66 versus MS67, can mean thousands of dollars. Population reports show that gem-quality red examples are much scarcer than the original mintage suggests. Market demand also plays a major role. Lincoln Cent collectors across the United States build complete date and mint mark sets. To complete a high-grade wheat penny collection, they need strong 1945 D examples. That steady collector demand supports long-term value. While most 1945 D wheat pennies are affordable, the finest known examples and rarer varieties have achieved astonishing auction results. The highest price ever recorded at auction for an exceptional 1945 D wheat penny reached $250,000. That's why this coin is valuable and why you should never overlook it. A 1945 wheat penny with a D mint mark may look like ordinary spare change, but in the right condition or with the right rare variety, it can become one of the most rewarding discoveries hiding in plain sight in America today. Coin number 4. What if a single 1952 wheat penny with no mint mark sitting in your change jar could be worth far more than 1 cent? Most people overlook these coins every day, but serious collectors across the United States know that certain 1952 pennies are highly valuable, especially in elite condition or with rare mint errors. The 1952 no mint mark cent is part of the historic Lincoln wheat penny series, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner and features Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse. By 1952, this design had already become one of the most recognized coins in American history. When a 1952 wheat penny has no mint mark, it means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During that time, Philadelphia did not place mint marks on cents, so the absence of a letter below the date confirms its origin. While millions were produced, survival in top condition is a completely different story. In circulated grades, a 1952 no mint mark penny may be worth a few cents to a couple of dollars depending on where. But value increases dramatically when you move into uncirculated territory. Coins graded MS65 or higher, especially those with strong original red color, can command impressive premiums. Copper coin value depends heavily on color designation. Brown, BN examples are fully toned and generally more affordable. Red-brown, RB coins show partial original mint color. Fully red, RD coins that retain their original luster are the most desirable. A bright, blazing red 1952 no mint mark penny with minimal contact marks is far scarcer than most people expect. Strike quality also matters. Look closely at Lincoln's hair detail and the wheat lines on the reverse. Sharp, crisp lines indicate a strong strike, which collectors favor. Weak strikes or excessive bag marks can lower a coin's grade and reduce value significantly. Now, let's talk about mint errors and varieties, because this is where hidden treasures can appear. Some 1952 no mint mark pennies show double die characteristics. Under magnification, you may notice doubling in the date, Liberty, or In God We Trust. True double dies display clear separation in the lettering, not flat, shelf-like doubling. Other errors to look for include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, cuds, and lamination errors. Even a small off-center error with a visible full date can increase value substantially. Dramatic errors often attract strong bidding from collectors who specialize in mint mistakes. Preservation plays a massive role in determining price. Many 1952 pennies were stored loosely in jars, exposed to air and humidity, causing oxidation and dull surfaces. Finding a fully original red example with strong cartwheel luster today is much more difficult than it sounds. If you're searching through old coin rolls or inherited collections, separate all wheat pennies first. Then examine the date closely. Confirm there is no mint mark below the year. Tilt the coin under bright light to look for mint luster. Use magnification to inspect the lettering and date for signs of doubling or unusual features. Never clean your coins. Cleaning removes original surface metal and leaves microscopic scratches that permanently reduce value. Even wiping a coin can lower its grade dramatically. Serious collectors and grading services prefer untouched, original surfaces. Professional grading from services like PCGS or NGC can significantly impact market value. In high mint state grades, the difference between MS66 and MS67 can mean thousands of dollars. Population data shows that the highest grade red examples are far scarcer than the original mintage numbers suggest. Collector demand is another key factor. Lincoln sent enthusiasts across America build complete date and mint mark sets in high grades. To complete those sets, they need premium quality 1952 Philadelphia issues. That steady demand supports strong prices for top examples. While most 1952 wheat pennies are affordable, the finest known examples and rare era varieties have achieved remarkable auction results. The highest price ever recorded at auction for an exceptional 1952 wheat penny with no mint mark reached $167,000. That's why this coin is valuable and why you should never ignore it. A 1952 wheat penny with no mint mark may look like ordinary spare change, but in the right condition or with the right rare error, it can become one of the most rewarding hidden treasures still waiting to be discovered in America today. Coin number 5. What if the next 1945 wheat penny with no mint mark you find in your pocket change is worth far more than 1 cent? Most people see an old penny and think it's just spare change. But serious collectors across the United States know that certain 1945 wheat pennies are valuable, and in rare cases, extremely rare. The 1945 no mint mark cent is part of the historic Lincoln wheat penny series, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin features Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks framing 1 cent on the reverse. By 1945, America was at the end of World War II, and these copper cents were once again being produced in massive quantities. When there is no mint mark below the date, it means the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During this era, Philadelphia did not place a mint mark on cents, so the absence of a letter confirms its origin. In 1945, Philadelphia produced over 1 billion pennies. Because of that high mintage, many people assume this coin is common and not worth saving. But here's the truth. Mintage numbers do not equal surviving condition rarity. While millions circulated, far fewer survive today in high-grade, fully original mint state condition. And that is where real value begins. In circulated condition, a 1945 wheat penny with no mint mark may be worth a few cents to a few dollars depending on where. But when you move into uncirculated grades, coins that were never used in daily commerce, the value increases dramatically. Coins graded MS65 or higher, especially those with strong original red color, can command impressive premiums in today's market. Copper coins are categorized by color: brown BN, red-brown RB, and red RD. A fully red 1945 penny that still displays bright mint luster is significantly more desirable than a dark brown example. The redder and more original the coin appears, the stronger the demand among collectors. Strike quality is another important factor. Look closely at Lincoln's hair detail and the wheat lines on the reverse. Sharp, crisp features indicate a strong strike. Weak strikes, heavy bag marks, or dull surfaces can lower the overall grade and reduce value. Now, let's talk about the real hidden opportunity, errors, and varieties. Some 1945 no mint mark pennies show double die characteristics. Under magnification, you may see noticeable doubling in the date, the word liberty, or the motto, "In God We Trust." True double dies show clear separation in the letters, not flat, mechanical doubling. Other collectible mint errors include off-center strikes, clip planchets, die cracks, cuds, and lamination errors. Even a small off-center strike with a visible full date can significantly increase the coin's value. The more dramatic and eye-catching the error, the more collectors are willing to pay. There is also strong demand for exceptional eye appeal. Toning can sometimes enhance value if it produces attractive colors like soft blues, purples, or gold hues. However, artificial toning or cleaning can destroy value completely. One of the biggest mistakes new collectors make is cleaning coins. Cleaning removes the original surface and leaves hairline scratches that permanently reduce the coin's grade. Even if a coin looks shinier afterward, it is worth less to serious collectors. Always leave coins in their original condition. If you're searching through rolls or inherited collections, start by separating all wheat pennies from memorial cents. Look carefully at the 1945 date. Confirm there is no mint mark below it. Examine the coin under strong lighting and tilt it slowly to check for cartwheel luster. Use magnification to inspect for doubling or unusual die characteristics. Professional grading by companies such as PCGS or NGC can significantly impact value. At high mint state levels, even a 1-point grade difference, such as MS66 versus MS67, can mean thousands of dollars in price difference. Population reports show that gem-quality red examples are much scarcer than the original mintage numbers suggest. Market demand continues to stay strong because Lincoln cent collectors across America build complete date and mint mark sets. High-grade 1945 Philadelphia issues are essential to completing those sets, creating consistent competition for premium examples. While most 1945 no mint mark pennies are modestly priced, the rarest high-grade and error examples have achieved astonishing results at major auctions. The highest price ever recorded at auction for an exceptional 1945 wheat penny with no mint mark reached $196,000. That's why this coin is valuable and why you should never overlook it. A 1945 wheat penny with no mint mark may look ordinary, but in the right condition or with the right rare error, it can become one of the most rewarding hidden treasures still waiting to be discovered in America's spare change. Before you spend another penny, stop and think. Every 1944 1945, 1951, or 1952 wheat penny we talked about today once passed through someone's hands as ordinary change. Most people ignored them. Some spent them without a second look, but a few collectors paid attention, and that attention turned into opportunity. These aren't just old coins. They are pieces of American history. Hidden value. Silent treasures sitting in jars, drawers, bankrolls, and inherited collections all across the United States. And the difference between 1 cent and thousands of dollars often comes down to one small detail: a mint mark, a strike, a rare, error, or pristine red luster. The scary part? The next valuable coin could already be in your home, and you wouldn't even know it. That's why knowledge is everything. And that's exactly what this channel is about, helping you spot the coins others miss. If you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe right now so you don't miss the next hidden treasure we uncover. Like this video to support the channel, share it with someone who saves coins, and drop a comment below telling me the oldest wheat penny you've ever found. And don't stop here. Go watch my previous video on Roosevelt Dime, because some of those dimes are worth far more than people imagine. You do not want to miss a coin sitting in your pocket that could change everything. I'll see you in the next video, and remember, always check your change.